Hey Joe, it's everyone here. If you're someone that's interested in print on demand, you are definitely not alone. Look at this graph. This is the Google trend showing how popular print on demand has become over the last 5 years. It's clear that print on demand is becoming one of the most popular ways for people to try and make money online. There's a lot of talk too, based on studies like this, that project that print on demand is going to grow to over $38 billion in sales by the year 2030. The article was even shared by Printify on their Instagram. And if you're interested in print on demand, you might be looking at all of your different options to start. You could sell on Amazon or build a Redbubble shop or even an Etsy shop. Amazon and Redbubble are pretty much duds at this point. The third option would be Etsy, and if you look at this graph here, you can see a steady increase and then a huge spike since 2020 in the total sellers on the platform. And if you're watching this video, you might be looking for a different way to start print on demand, and that's what I'm going to be outlining in this video today. I was recently invited to Printify headquarters. They hosted a print on demand conference, and while I was there, I was talking a lot about the things that I'm going to be reviewing in this video today.
Joe Robert, with over 87,000 subscribers and 4 million views, plus the largest Facebook group of POD merchants in the world, Joe is no stranger to what it takes to build a successful brand.
Joe is a POD expert. See if I get all of this right, Joe. You started POD in 2016.
Yep. I didn't make any sales till 2017 though.
His online course has helped his students collectively earn over $5 million in sales. Joe?
In the video today, I'm going to be breaking down things that I said while I was at Printify and sharing an entire strategy for you to follow. If you want to check out some of the print on demand products that I would recommend selling, make sure to check out some of the videos here on my channel. I have done dozens of different product reviews. And if you like the strategy I outlined for you today, I do have a free step-by-step course showing you how to implement it. There's a link down in the description. Inside, you're going to get access to over 30 step-by-step videos showing you how to actually build out your store. Like I said, it is completely free, and there is a link down in the description. Here's a detailed breakdown about what we're going to cover today. This is a little bit of a lengthy video, but I wanted to make sure that I went in depth on all of these different topics and provided you with the steps to actually follow the strategy. So if you want to jump through all the different timestamps on the video, you definitely can, but if you just want to watch it from start to finish, that's fine too.
In the year 2019, there was less than 2 million Etsy shops. That number's over 6 million now.
The point I was trying to make is that right now, print on demand is more popular than ever. Marketplaces like Redbubble and Amazon, like I said before, are pretty much not a major player, and Etsy is the thing that is becoming too saturated for new sellers to get started. I have seen countless posts inside of my print on demand Facebook group. At this point, we have over 80,000 members there. I've seen lots of people talking about starting an Etsy store, getting no traction at all. This is not a new problem either. It's been happening for a while, and I think as time goes on, it's going to get worse. Something fueling this is the endless amounts of videos about Etsy being pitched as a very easy way to get into print on demand, when in reality it's super time consuming, where all you're doing is basically uploading design after design after design only to try and stay relevant in the search results. Here's a few examples. If I type in teacher gifts in the search here, you can see we have over 1 million results. If I type in personalized tumblers, we have almost 300,000 results. If I type in gardening shirt, we have over 50,000 results. If I type in pet mom gift, we have over 300,000 results. If I type in sports mom gift, we have over 170,000 results. If I type in personalized gift for grandmas, I'm going to get over 160,000 results. And the list likely goes on and on and on. No matter what you're typing in on Etsy, there is hundreds of thousands of results for it, which means a lot of people have been creating videos about how to find low competition niches because all of the good stuff is already filled up. From what I've seen, most people are burning themselves out before they see any real results. Here's an article from Forbes, and it's talking about how discoverability is going to be huge going forward. It says that consumers are not only using social media to socialize anymore, they're actively using social media as a search engine to find and purchase niche products. It says that consumers cannot buy from businesses they cannot find. So setting up stuff on social media is key, and there are very specific ways to do so.
You're a brand guy, Joe.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, first and foremost, I think it's important to define when you say you're a brand guy, like what does that mean, right? I think ultimately when it comes to me being a brand guy, that means that I don't really like the idea of using a marketplace, right? Meaning if I'm looking at a place like Shopify or WordPress, that's like brand. If I'm looking at a place like a marketplace, that's like Etsy, Redbubble. I prefer the brand, the standalone type of a thing. Ultimately, that's because I think it's more than a platform debate. I think it has a lot to do with strategy. I think if you're going to be someone that's going into a marketplace arena, you're going to be spending your time creating tons of designs. You're going to likely sell them across lots of different niches. I think you're going to likely be creating different things for holidays. Ultimately, you're going to be trying to do as much as possible just to make as many sales at the same time. You're going to constantly reinvent yourself. What I would much rather do is build a brand, choose a niche, build a store for it, create a space where people in that niche can sort of hang out on social media, and ultimately create a great product for them and scale it on social media.
And you're saying I guess that's in part because you love brand and you love that work, like I personally do. But you're also saying it's just a better strategy, especially long term. Right?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I was teasing, Jay earlier and saying, if this was 4 years ago, there would maybe be someone else from a different platform here. And, ultimately, I believe that the brand is, if you're getting into POD and you're looking for something that's going to work, not for the next 6 months, 12 months, but like a timeless strategy, then the brand is a great option because people love their brands. And ultimately, what we're talking about is creating kind of silly brands, right? Like in a hunting niche or, in a gardening niche or something like that. But it's still a brand. It's still a branded space. And ultimately, yes, that is the way that I would prefer.
If print on demand is projected to grow to over 38 billion in sales, that means to me that the real opportunity is in building your own website, your own shop, and then using the power of social media to establish your brand. As all of these POD marketplaces become too saturated, this to me is the best option. This is the way that I have been able to generate a full-time income. I started my first print on demand store this way in 2016. I've also helped people to build their own, and at this point, students have made about $5 million in sales. The goal is to create a unique store that does one specific thing very well. When I say one specific thing, I don't mean going into the Printify catalog and choosing tons of random products. What I would recommend you to do is to kind of choose a category and make that the theme of your store, or even choose a niche and make that the theme of your store. As we go through the video, I'll outline steps for you to do that, but the point here is that through organic marketing, paid ads, and influencers, you will begin to grow your brand and make sales.
I think that there's plenty of built-in buyers out there on social media. At this point, there's 2 billion people that use Facebook on a daily basis. There's 500 million people that use Instagram on a daily basis and 400 million people that use Pinterest on a daily basis. And according to Forbes in that same study, they said that over 80% of people responded and admitted to buying something on social media in the past. There are your built-in buyers, right?
A lot of people hail Etsy as a great place to get started because there's built-in traffic, but there's also a lot of traffic for you to get on social media. According to Forbes, 77% of businesses are using social media to reach their customers. Also, Facebook is the top platform for shopping. Over 20% of all social commerce sales are coming from Facebook. Instagram is number 2. In 2023, there was 106 million people in the United States who bought products on social media. In 2022, there was $992 billion in social commerce sales, and by 2026, they predict that number to be 2.9 trillion. Also, the average US person spends 145 minutes per day on social media. Again, this is me saying to you that this right here is the unsaturated strategy. This is the alternative to participating in the Etsy madness. This is the strategy that I will be using, and this is the strategy that I would recommend you to give a try.
I want to ask you, Joe, would you say that putting in a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money to get that following, that traffic to your stores is a limitation for a standalone store?
I don't, because I think the question's really, are we talking about get rich for free and instantly, or are we talking about building a business, right? I think ultimately either option have a time element behind it. If you're someone that's going to sell in a marketplace, your time's going to be spent creating designs. We already heard today again of all the different holidays, right? Imagine a situation where every 6 weeks you're relaunching your entire product line. That's ultimately what the most successful Etsy sellers are doing, and we heard some of that today. I think ultimately if you're going to be building a brand on a standalone site, what I would walk you through is to try to create a store that has a very small and exclusive product catalog. Choose like 2 or 3 different products and build your site and have like 8 designs on it, and then get to work growing your social media pages. You can start for free with that.
One of the biggest myths I've heard about this whole strategy I'm talking about is that getting traffic is hard or even way too expensive. There are lots of different free methods to get traffic, and it is honestly the easy part of this business. Just like if you are creating an Etsy shop, the hard part is creating things that people will actually want to buy. The same is true for building your own website. Another myth is that building your own store is expensive, and honestly that's not really that true either, because Shopify has $1 a month specials all the time. There's also WordPress, which I don't use, but it is a free option. And ultimately, again, we are starting a business here and we're not trying to just get rich for free. free. A lot of people also say that it's very difficult to build an online store, and I would challenge you, if you are watching this video, to think about your experience with the internet. You can build a store. It is drag and drop. It is super simple, and like I said at the beginning, I do have a free course linked in the description showing you how to do it. Another myth is that Etsy is for beginners and that Shopify is for the advanced people. In my opinion, this is completely false because the strategies are completely different. An analogy I really like is if you were someone that wanted to start selling pizza and you were considering opening up a pizza shop restaurant, it would be crazy to think that people would advise you to first buy a tent and go to craft fairs and carnivals and fairs and attempt to sell your pizza there first. Basically saying, before you start your own thing, why don't you try to go to a marketplace like a craft fair or something like that and sell your pizza first? There's no reason to think that you couldn't learn to open a restaurant and go do it without first selling at a craft fair. That's basically what people who believe this myth are saying to do. Honestly, as well, the experience you would gain at the craft fair selling your pizza likely won't translate over to the restaurant. That's because being successful selling pizza at a craft fair is completely different than being successful with a restaurant. The strategies are very different. Which leads me to the last myth here, is that the debate between Shopify versus Etsy is about platform. It's not. It's about strategy. You heard me say in the video that the Etsy strategy is basically try to upload as many things as possible, as often as possible, so that way you can be relevant in the search results. In a lot of cases, you're going to be limited in your niche choices and your product choices because you're going to be trying to appear when someone searches for something. With Shopify, you have a lot more creative flexibility because you can try to sell to niches that maybe don't have a lot of search volume. You can also sell to very competitive niches because there's no search volume that you are trying to compete with.
Long term, you're going to have assets. That time is going to give you an ROI. If you put 6 months of time into an Etsy shop or a Redbubble shop or whatever it is, you're after 6 months going to have a marketplace shop. 6 months of a brand, you're going to have an asset. That's a website, that's an email list, that's a social media page with followers that ultimately could be sold. I have sold print-on-demand stores in the past. I'm not saying everybody here has to do that, but you have an asset, and that is something that I think is a tremendous value for the brand-based side.
Now, before we actually jump into the strategies today, I know that we went through a long intro today. I was trying to set this all up. This strategy that I'm talking about is for anyone who has a long-term vision and a desire to have a branded business of their own. This strategy is perfect for anybody who thinks they have great ideas for niches, products, and designs, and they do not want to compete with everybody else in Etsy search results. This is for anyone who can picture themselves being a member of the niche community they are selling to. Basically saying, you think it would be cool to run social media pages that have lots of followers that contain members of your niche. If any of that sounds like you, this strategy is 100% for you. Just like with an Etsy store, the first step for starting your own store is to think about your product line. This means first thinking about niches. Obviously, because we are selling to strangers on social media, the niches are super important. If you don't have a niche, no one's going to be interested in your stuff. Examples of niches are on the screen right now. This is somebody's print-on-demand store, and you can see in their menu, they've listed out all of their different niches. Niches are hobbies and jobs and different nationalities that people have and identities that represent who they are. With your own store, you're also going to have a little bit more freedom with your niche choice because you're not competing with everybody else in the search results, which means you can sell to these really popular niches. You can also choose niches that maybe people are not going on Etsy and searching for. What I mean by that is a lot of times niches out there are definitely interested in buying something, but if they don't know you exist because they're not searching for it, they won't be able to buy it. That was the point of this article here, where it says discoverability is going to be huge because people are using social media to find and purchase niche products. It says that consumers can't buy from businesses they cannot find. Basically what I'm saying is when you're building your own store, you have the opportunity to bring products to people that otherwise really wouldn't be searching for items that might interest them. When it comes to niches, sometimes it's good too for you to choose a niche that you're actually interested in or a niche that you are passionate about. That's going to help you when it comes to running a social media page for the niche or even just coming up with great design ideas. ideas. The second part is your product choice. Now, in most cases, I advise people to not start with t-shirts or mugs. I'm not saying you can't have those on your store, but you should be leading with something that's a little bit more unique. Basically, what I'm saying is your store should have a star. This here is a print-on-demand store that I have shown on the channel before, and basically what they've done is they've chosen one product as the star of their store, and then what they do is they make lots of different designs representing different niches, all on the same product. This is an example of what's called a product-focused brand. The other option would be to create something like this. This is a store called Airport Tag, where they are focused on just one niche, which is traveling. And again, when it comes to selling on your own store, you have a little bit more freedom than you do on Etsy. What I mean by that is if you're going through the Printify catalog, you're likely going to see lots of really cool products that you would love to sell to your niche. But the problem is if you're wanting to sell some of these on Etsy, your success is going to be based on whether or not people are actually typing any of these things in. For example, if I scroll through the all over printed clothing options here, we have a men's Hawaiian shirt as a option for us on our print on demand store. We also have print on demand bomber jackets like this. We even have print on demand baseball jerseys and joggers and even leggings. The list goes on and on and on, but my point is these are very cool products for lots of different niches that likely no one would ever search for. The whole idea is if you are bringing it to them on social media, it will be exciting and it will be something they may impulse purchase. Basically what I'm saying is start going through the product catalogs for your favorite print-on-demand supplier and just see what's out there and start to think about if you could create a cool standalone brand selling that product to your niche. After you've given your niche and your product choices some thought, it's time to begin to think about your type of store that you're going to be building. You can either build a niche brand or a product brand. Like I said before, niche brands are stores that are focused on just one niche, and a product brand is a store that is focused on a particular type of product or even product category like home decor. A niche brand, like I said, sells products to just one niche, and then a product brand is a store that sells one type of product to many different niches. There is a third option which I really don't love. It is this here, a general store, which is basically a store that has lots of different niches, everything from different relationships and different hobbies and activities to occasions and occupations and jobs, but it also does tons and tons and tons of different products. To me, this type of store is a little bit difficult to pull off, and I would advise you to choose a niche or a product-based brand. This right here is another example of a product-based brand. They have chosen print-on-demand metal signs as their product, and they are creating designs for lots of different niches. This here is an example of a niche brand. This is actually a German store that I found. I reviewed this here on the channel before. They're basically creating products for people that are theme park enthusiasts, and this again is an example of a niche brand. Ultimately though, your store, in my opinion and experience, needs a unique selling proposition, meaning your store needs to feel like it has some sort of specialty, meaning you don't want to just open a store and throw phone cases, sweatshirts, mugs, and t-shirts on there, because those are all just kind of typical products. You can have those on there, but your store should have a star. Your store should do something unique for your niche that will help you to stand out in social media posts. The next step is very similar to what you would be doing if you were building an Amazon store, an Etsy shop, Redbubble, and anything like that, because what we're talking about is actually making your designs. The key difference though is I would start with only 4 designs per product. You do not need to create dozens and dozens of designs and just start throwing them on your store. The whole idea here is that you are building a brand. You are building a branded space for your niche or for your product type, and ultimately we don't need a lot of things at the beginning. The whole idea here is we want to not create too many things before we launch. Every single time I open a print-on-demand store, I prioritize the launch, meaning I don't want to spend weeks or months building out lots of different designs. I would much rather build a very simple store with a few different products on it, a handful of designs, and open. Once the store is open, you can add more. A lot of people as well may not have a lot of graphic design experience, and you might want to use a designer. In the free course I mentioned that's linked down in the description, I do have some videos in there showing you how to do that. If you are making your designs yourself, I have some videos on the channel here talking about different resources. Design software like Kittle or a design bundle platform like Creative Fabrica could be a great option to help you to get started. And again, we're following all the same processes if we were starting an Etsy shop, meaning you want to make sure you have good designs that have good detail and are not just like plain black text with clip art or something like that. The key though is to, like I said, limit the amount of designs you're creating at the beginning so that way you can get open and that way you can actually launch your brand. Once you have your designs, it's time to build your store. Again, my free course down in the description gives you all the steps that you can follow along to do that. Ultimately, what you're trying to create is something like this here. This is a print-on-demand store that was shared inside of my print-on-demand Facebook group. Like I said earlier, there's about 80,000 members inside, and you can see that it is a very simple and clean and professional looking site. It does have a unique angle. It is selling tumblers to first responders. The name of the store is Hero Haven. If we click through and look at all of the different products, again, we will see that they have started with just 12 items, which is a great start. And as we scroll through, we can see that they have some very similar designs for different types of first responders. For your store's name, try to make it like 2 to 3 words, not too long, something easy to read, something easy to pronounce. You don't want to be making up words or changing spellings and things like that. Keep it simple and come up with a nice name. You'll also want to make sure you have a simple and clean logo, just like with Etsy, your shops needs a logo. Same thing here, we need a logo on the store. I like to use the free Dawn theme. This is going to be the default theme that you get when you first open a Shopify store. It's easy to customize, and I think it looks pretty great. That kind of feeds into one of the myths that people believe about Shopify, is that you need to spend a couple $100s on a nice fancy theme in order to succeed. The fact is that the free Dawn theme is awesome, and you can definitely use it. When it comes to your actual store, everything should be clean. You should have some sort of header image at the top of the store, maybe a description of the store, some products, maybe an image with text section, and then some more text about the store. Basically, this store here is a perfect example. You can see a nice simple banner at the top. It looks like this might be some sort of a placeholder right now. The person that shared this inside of my print-on-demand Facebook group said they were still working on it, but you can see that it does have this little picture icon here. So I'm not sure if this is like a placeholder or something. At some point, they likely will have a header on here that sort of showcases some of their products. This is a print-on-demand store that is in a similar niche, and you can kind of see the example of the header they have here. They also have this version as well. This store has a name that is relevant to the niche. Hero Haven Gifts, nice and short and sweet. They have a nice clean logo up at the top. Below their header, they have a little bit of text here about their actual store. As we scroll down, we see some of their best-selling items. We then see some collections that are broken out by the different types of first responders. They have a satisfaction guarantee here. They have some frequently asked questions, and then the site wraps up. All of this is created simply by dragging and dropping. Just like when you upload your designs to Printify, if you're selling on Etsy, if you're selling on Shopify, it publishes them right here to the store. Down in the free course, I have videos showing you exactly what to do. On a Shopify site, you will have a product page like this. This is where your product title exists. This is where your price of the product exists. You can put things on sale. People can add things to their cart. There's product images. There's a product description. There's related products. And again, this is all created inside of Shopify very, very quickly. Every time you publish a design to your store, you are going to get yourself a product page like this. And from there, you can customize it to look however you want. Next up is marketing. Once your store is built and it's open and it's ready to go, it's time to show your products to the world. This, in my opinion, is the easy part. Everything you've done so far is the hard part. You've chosen niches, you've chosen products, you've made designs, you've built a store. All of those things are ultimately going to contribute the most to your success. When I work with beginners, a lot of them are rushing to get to the marketing point, and they rush through all of that, and they ultimately end up with a store that has products on it that nobody wants to buy. Just like if you're selling on Etsy, your design, your niche, all of that is ultimately going to lead to your success or your failure. For marketing, there's really 3 primary methods. The first is organic. This is stuff you can do for free. Second is paid ads. Yes, these cost money. You can start with just $1 a day though. I will touch on some ways to do that in this video today, but I also have other videos on my channel talking about how to actually do it. Thirdly, you can utilize influencers. These are basically people in your niche that can help you to promote your products. And again, I have other videos on that. I will talk a little bit about it today as well. When it comes to organic marketing, like I said, this is free. This is stuff you can do on a daily basis in order to begin growing your brand. Simply posting on social media accounts is crucial, so that way you can get that part going and you don't have to rely on paid traffic. One of my first print-on-demand stores ever only used organic traffic. Before I even tried ads, I mastered organic traffic. I was able to grow an Instagram account account in my niche by posting memes and videos and product photos and quote images and things like that. And with just a couple thousand followers, I was able to consistently generate $5,000 in sales per month. The whole idea here is you can go out and you can find memes and images and videos from other social media accounts, and you can post that on your social media. You can also create your own stuff, different quote images, product photos, unboxings, customer reviews, or anything like that. You are now a business owner, so have fun and post. It's completely free to do so. This account here is based on the raccoon niche. I didn't really know the raccoon niche was a thing, but you can see they have over 120,000 followers. They're posting lots of different memes. Some of them they might be making themselves. Some of them they might be finding on Google. You can see they're also posting merchandise. They have actual shirts that they're posting on here. This one has over 1,200 likes. Up here, if we scroll up, there's another one here with about 800 likes. They have a link in the bio to their store. In their story highlights, they have a whole bunch more merch as well. They're likely making a lot of organic sales through doing this. Here's another option for another store that's doing this. This one only has 4,000 followers, but they're still likely making some decent sales on this because, again, you don't need that many followers to actually do this. I have made sales on accounts that do not have 100,000 followers. My recommendation would be to, once you get a following of any amount on social media and you've made some sales through some of your organic methods that you are implementing, is to jump in and start trying to get traffic to your store through using ads. And yes, I know a lot of people are afraid of ads, but the truth is they are amazing. The idea that you and I can make designs for our niche, then we can go on Facebook and on Instagram and we can run ads to people in our niche is an amazing thing that you should learn how to do. Inside of a Facebook Business Manager, you can create simple ads starting at $1 and $5 a day to drive traffic to your store. In the free course linked inside of this video's description, I have some videos showing you how to set up your business manager. Running ads on social media is not hard, and honestly, like I said, you can start with a very low budget and you can grow from there. A lot of times what I will do is I will take successful organic posts and I will use those as my ads, basically using simple images and videos to showcase my items. Any ad should feature a product, and then when they click the link on the ad, it should take them to the page to actually buy the item. Inside of your Facebook ad account, you can target your niche with tons of different keywords. You can choose different countries, and again, you can use images or videos to showcase your product. Another method of marketing that you could use besides paid ads is influencer marketing. A great influencer is someone in your niche who's creating content on social media that has between 10,000 and 100,000 followers. The whole idea here is to partner with them to have them promote your items to their audience. What I do is search YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok and send messages or emails to them. Don't overthink this either. Reach out to them as a human being. Tell them who you are. Tell them the store that you run, and tell them that you'd like to send them a free sample in exchange for them giving you a shout out. You might get 25 people to say no, but if 1 or 2 say yes, that is traffic for your store. This video here is also something that you can ask them to make for you. Basically an unboxing video. Something like this goes viral on social media. These are also great to use as paid ads at some point. Someone unboxing your items, someone modeling and wearing your items, and even just to have images of your products on real people on your store can be beneficial. My point is this with this video is that if you're getting into POD and you are concerned with levels of saturation and you're wondering about the long-term viability of this business model, don't be, because it's growing. More products are coming out, more options for us as sellers are becoming available in terms of design placements and personalization options as well. But what I would advise you to do is to think differently about how you're actually going about selling your items. Places like Amazon, Redbubble, and Etsy are extremely popular, and right now the biggest opportunity for POD sellers is to pursue what I have outlined today, which is building your own store, creating a really cool space for your niche, and then using social media like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to drive people to your store. That is a timeless strategy. It's what I've done since 2016, and ultimately here on my channel, that's exactly what I try to talk about. Like I said throughout the video, I do have a free step-by-step course showing you how to get started with all of this. I also have lots of other videos where I go a little bit more in depth on some of the different subjects that I've talked about today here on my channel. In today's video, what I really just tried to do was present to you an alternative to Etsy and outline some of the steps that you could take to get started with it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, don't just tell me that I'm stupid or something like that. Like, actually engage in a conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts and your vision about print on demand and what is going to happen in the future. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.